As Tom said, biomimicry is a new protocol for creativity and innovation. It takes lessons from the inspiration of nature and then emulates nature's ideas to create breakthrough technologies. We are so fortunate to live in this place where on a daily basis we are surrounded by the beauty of nature. My talk today is inspired by this wonder and awe that we can find when we take time to quiet our human cleverness and open our eyes to the beauty of nature, and to take time to be inspired by the lessons that nature has taken 3.8 billion years to refine and evolve. Let's look at a few examples. How does nature create strong adhesives? Columbia Forest Products took inspiration from the mussel shells. By studying the secretions of the mussel shells, it's created a soy-based protein that is used as an adhesive to create plywood. Most of us know that plywood is made with formaldehyde, and by using Pure Bond plywood, we have not only a non-toxic adhesive, but the plywood actually has enhanced water resistance and durability as well. How does nature create a strong vapor explosion? In this case, it's the Bombardier beetle. Swedish Biomimicry 3000 has studied the very unique valve and chamber system in the Bombardier beetle. And they have mimicked this spray explosion with a platform technology that they call UMIST. This technology is currently being deployed in a wide range of industry applications, ranging from fuel injection in the automotive industry, aviation, drug delivery, and consumer products, to name just a few. How does nature create strong, vibrant color? Qualcomm sought inspiration in the vibrant color of the butterfly's wings. And in this particular case, butterfly wings get their vivid color in a very unique way in terms of how they reflect the light waves. And this intense color can be mimicked in electronics through using what's called an iMod technology that Qualcomm has developed. Their new displays, called Mirasol, are being used in e-readers and electronic devices. And what you'll see is you can get strong, vibrant color in full sunlight outside, and the devices actually use less battery power than conventional displays. How does nature repel bacteria? In this particular situation, sharklet technologies in Colorado found inspiration in the skin of the shark. And the denticles of the shark skin are comprised of very unique hills and valleys. Sharklet mimicked these hills and valleys in a thin film coating that's currently being placed in hospital surfaces, nurses' workstations, bedside tables, rails, etc. And in this particular case, what the thin film technology allows is it doesn't allow the bacteria to grow and colonize. And in the surfaces where this thin film technology is being applied, it results in an 86% reduction in the bacteria that cause MRSA, which is the antibiotic-resistant staph infection that has caused so many problems in the hospital setting. And finally, a little bit closer to home, in Billings, Montana, we have Floating Island International. How does nature clean and purify water? In this particular case, Floating Island has created biohavens, which essentially mimic the function of a wetland. Wetlands not only remove sediments from water, but we have this very unique wetlands ecosystem, and Biohaven's product mimics those wetlands ecosystems. Biomimicry is an amazing, powerful protocol. And if you're interested in learning more about it, there are a number of organizations that offer training and workshops in biomimicry. And I've listed just a few of those organizations here. In addition, there is a very wonderful website called asknature.org, where you can essentially type in a question, how does nature filter water? And you will find a list of organisms that will help solve that problem, and then you'll also find the technologies that have been developed based on that organism. If you go to Amazon and type in the word biomimicry, there are a host of books on biomimicry. And in fact, my own biomimicry journey started 4 years ago when I had the opportunity on the University of Montana campus to hear Janine Benyus speak. Janine is the author of the book Biomimicry: Innovations Inspired by Nature. In Missoula, Montana, my work at the university is inspired by the beauty of the natural surroundings. And when I heard Janine Benyus speak 4 years ago, it allowed me to integrate, all of a sudden, the very disparate aspects of my life that previously had been separate. And in this particular case, I was able to include not only my daily walks outside that I take for my own inspiration, but I was able to bring that now into my classroom, into the classes that I teach, and into the research that I do as an academic. What I'd like to do is share with you a few of the companies that my students have worked with at the University of Montana to help commercialize their biomimetic inventions. In this particular case, students work in teams, and the teams get to select the company that they get to work with. One of the companies my students have worked with is Green Shield Technologies. Green Shield is based in Colorado. They've created a fabric finish that mimics the structure of the lotus leaf to create a naturally water-repellent surface in textiles. And the beauty of this is that most water-resistant surfaces are used with a Teflon-based product which has PFCs in it. In this particular case, my students worked with Green Shield, and the major problems that many of these small biomimetic startups faced is, first of all, creating awareness in their target market, and then building credibility with business partners. What my students help these companies to do is to complement their technical proficiencies with the science behind the biomimetic invention, and they complement that with marketing and commercialization competencies that are so critical for business success. A second company that my students have worked with is Ornolux Technologies. Ornolux is made by Arnold Glass in Germany, and it's a glass product that is designed to minimize bird collisions. In Germany alone, there are over 250,000 bird deaths a year from bird collisions with glass, and in the United States, the estimates run to hundreds of millions. Ornolux sought inspiration from the webbing of spider webs that have a naturally reflective UV coating in them. And because the bird's eyes see a different spectrum of UV rays than do human eyes, what Ornolux was able to do was infuse the glass with this reflective coating such that it's transparent to the human eye, but birds actually avoid it. As you can see from these examples, biomimicry holds great potential to help bring our industrial practices back in harmony with nature so that we can live a more sustainable future. The challenges that small high-tech startups face in commercializing biomimetic inventions are very different from the challenges that large companies face. In parallel to my work with small companies, I also have a project working with large companies. And if you take the time to go, again, to do an internet search on biomimicry and type in almost any large company name that you can think of, many of them are experimenting with biomimicry. And in this particular case, what they're attempting to do is to bring biomimicry into their product development processes to either solve technical challenges or to unleash new ideas that previously haven't been thought of. The way the process works in a large company is most large companies do product development in cross-disciplinary teams, where they typically have a business person, an engineer, possibly an architect, depending on the industry, and a product designer. And biomimicry now adds another voice to that table, and that is the voice of the biologist. Oftentimes this is referred to as biologizing the design process. And by following a very specific protocol in these companies, it unleashes the power of the new insights that biomimicry can bring. One of the shining success stories in biomimicry from a large company perspective is Interface Floor. Interface Floor realized that one of the major problems that people face when they want to replace carpeting, particularly in these large commercial facilities, is the fact that we end up ripping up all of the carpet when in fact there's only small portions of it that are worn. But it's hard to match the dye lots and the pattern. By asking the question, how does nature create beautiful patterns in a random fashion, they found inspiration in the beauty of the forest floor. And in this particular case, their line of entropy carpet tiles allows them to go in and replace only the worn sections without having to worry about does it match the dye lot or the pattern. Interface Floor has taken it much further than that, however, because they've also made sure that they've engaged in green manufacturing with products that are not petroleum-based for the carpet material, the textiles. And then they also have gone a step further, and they've started a consulting arm that allows them to consult with other companies based on their success integrating sustainability into their business processes. I think that when we look at these examples, what it allows us to learn from is what are the barriers companies are facing, and how do we remove those barriers to unleash the promise that biomimicry has to offer. This is a shot of the Rattlesnake Valley in Missoula, Montana. And for me, my own biomimicry journey continues. I feel like I'm just at the very start of a really exciting trajectory for the next 15 years of my career path. And what I'm committed to doing is continuing to integrate classes at the university with projects from the Biomimicry Institute. I think that it offers an opportunity to both help students learn and to help commercialize these biomimetic inventions. I also plan on continuing my research on the barriers companies are facing in introducing biomimicry into their innovation process. And what I urge each of you to do is to think about, if you were to look at some of the problems in your own organization or in your own businesses and ask the question, how would nature do that? It can help you to bring the power of biomimicry to solve problems in your own life. And what you'll see is that by taking the time to quiet our human cleverness, that our ostensible human ingenuity has essentially created the problems that we're living with as a society. If we take our time to turn that cleverness off and essentially reflect on the lessons that we can learn from nature, what we'll be able to do is to create a society where the products that we invent and the things that we use and the way that we solve problems will actually be more in harmony with the planet for a more sustainable future. Simply by asking the question, how would nature do that? Thank you.